All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dunk on AP podcast. Today we're talking about topic 4.3, the Columbian Exchange. Going to be a little bit shorter of a lesson today, so without further ado, let's go dunk on AP. So, with the Columbian Exchange, the big thing that you need to understand is really this is the moment when the world and human history changes forever. And I'm not overselling it to say that, because the big things that are going to happen here is that the new connections between the Eastern and Western hemispheres result in the exchange of new plants, animals, and diseases. This all ends up being known as the Columbian Exchange. This is going to be what happens when the old world meets the new world and everything changes forever. So we're going to talk a lot today about what specifically gets brought over. But to define this really quick, the Columbian Exchange is the exchange of plants, animals, and diseases between the old world, which was Europe, Africa, and the Middle East, and the new world, which is the Americas. So to give you an idea of some of the things that got shipped over coming from the old world to the new world, you've got pigs, sheep, cattle, horses, coffee, citrus, bananas, sugarcane. Also, though, you've got smallpox, influenza, malaria, measles. Now, coming from the old world to the new world, because so much of the Columbian Exchange, the big shift that happens because of the maritime empires making it to the other side of the world, so much gets focused on as far as what comes over to the new world. Let's just for 1 second, this is what goes from the old world to the new world. Pumpkin, potato, squash, yams, turkey, corn, tomatoes, peppers, cacao, and tobacco. So those are, there are big things that go in both directions. So this is going to be really effective on the old world economy, but really this is going to affect on the new world economy. It's going to have probably a more profound effect as far as their lives. Now, crops are going to change lives here. Staple crops or everyday food, Eurasia drastically changes because of that. You think about going from the Americas, you've got corn, potatoes, tomatoes. You think about Ireland without the potato. It's a big thing. You're going to see a much better diet, much better nutrition going over to the old world, and you're going to see longer lives in the old world. Now, coming over, you are going to have stuff like wheat. You're going to have bananas, oranges, lemons. You're going to have, coming from Africa, you're going to have beans and things like that. So all of that, you think about in the Americas, the Italian diet without tomatoes. That's what pasta sauce, So cash crops, as opposed to, so you've got staple crops that are just everyday food that people are consuming for their lives. Cash crops are grown in the Americas for the profit of Europe. Most famous examples: coffee, tobacco, sugar, and cotton. All of those come over from the other side of the world to the new world. They are also, but for those specifically, they are going to use coerced labor systems like slavery and the encomienda system in the Spanish-held territories in the New World, which was slavery of natives. So American crops replace essential crops in Eurasia and in Africa. Eurasian and African crops replace American crops. Now, the effects of European exploration, in the biggest one, particularly on the native population, is disease diffusion. Okay, this is the unintentional transfer of rats and mosquitoes via ships. So Europeans also carry diseases unknown in the Americas that they had no immunity to, like smallpox, measles, and malaria. And you see a massive drop off of the native population in the New World. And you have to understand that while, yes, there was a lot of violence later, especially that came with natives dying, so much of the native population dies because of disease. So the effects on the population: Europe becomes heavily dependent on American foods because of the Columbian Exchange. Just look at Ireland in the mid 1800s with potatoes. But the population benefits. You get a huge population growth because of the Columbian Exchange. European colonization of the Americas also leads, of course, though. So while the old world is thriving as far as population because of all the crops that get brought over from the new world, European colonization of the Americas leads to the unintentional transfer of disease vectors like mosquitoes and rats, and the spread of diseases that were endemic in the Eastern Hemisphere, including smallpox, measles, and malaria. Some of these diseases substantially reduce the indigenous population. Now, food transfers transform societies. Disease wipes out massive numbers of Mesoamerican people. Cash crops drive coerced labor like African slavery and the encomienda system. So I know this was a short lesson, but the world before the Columbian Exchange and the world after the Columbian Exchange are drastically different. We don't have a modern world without the Columbian Exchange.